I'm like, no, you idiot. Like, you're starting off the relationship with bad will.
The best thing that I've seen so far this year, to be honest.
A lot about selling and coaching is a consumer behavior analysis, right? It's all like psychology at the end of the day. Landing a client taught me more about life than my entire year at college. Bro, it needs to be specific. It needs to be custom. Like when you go on a date, do you tell the girl, so what I do is I date girls like you? I'm like, no, you talk about her specifically. You make her feel special, right? That's what you got to do here.
Finally see the light at the end of the tunnel, because I kind of know what I'm doing wrong and what needs to get fixed, right? But right now there's no guessing. It's just like black and white, do this.
I got a client for you.
Pretty fast.
I never thought that I would actually do this, but today's your lucky day. I'm going to show you a glimpse of what a one-on-one coaching call looks like inside my private 4-figure program that's designed to help everyday beginners build up a real online business that pays them thousands of dollars every single month and actually allows them to live on their own terms and, have that financial location and time freedom. In this analysis, I'll break down one of my students' client calls and show you exactly how to position yourself as a content operator who's an expert in their field, how to correctly pitch clients for thousands of dollars, and also the consumer psychology around what gets people to actually buy. I've never revealed something like this publicly before. People pay thousands of dollars a month to work with me, so go ahead, enjoy it. I hope it helps, and let's get into the video. All right, Peter, here we go, bro. Thanks for sending this in. I'm going to be as brutally honest as possible because I want you to succeed. I want you to win. I want you to make as much money possible as a content operator. So I'm going to tell it to you straight. Like personally, when I was growing up, I played soccer, football, and every time I had a bad match, my dad would yell at me in the car. And even though it sucked in the moment, like the next game, I'd go and I'd play amazing because he told me what I needed to hear, not what I wanted to hear. And, that sort of like tough love really just showed me the reality, and I was able to learn from my mistakes and actually analyze, like what was I doing wrong? And also takes self-accountability. Like, even when I'd be like, I was a striker, I was a number 9, my dad would be like, well, how many shots do you have on goal? Like, you didn't shoot at all. And I'm like, well, Dad, no one passed me the ball. And he's like, okay, well, were you open? Were you making runs into the space? And then I was like, yeah. And he's like, okay, well, did you drop back then? Were you offsides? And so it makes you like actually question. You can't just blame others. You can't just say, oh, well, the client didn't want to pay me. Well, that's not true. If the client really saw value, he would pay you. Right? Like even if you were dead broke, if I offered you a Lamborghini right now, and it's perfectly fine, the average cost Lamborghini is like what, like $250,000, but I give it to you for 10K, you would take out a loan. You would like ask a friend for 10K. You would rob a bank for the 10K because you could resell it for 200, right? So you'd still make a profit. And so it's the same thing. It's like when clients really want to work with you, they're not going to come up with excuses. Say, oh, I need to think about it or whatever. So if you're not landing clients, it's your fault. Okay, and that's what I'm gonna analyze today. So, without further ado, let's just jump right into it.
This meeting is being recorded.
Awesome, man. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Busy Monday, but you know how it is.
Hell yeah. Good thing that we met. So yeah, man. Let me not waste your time. Let me not waste my time. So you down to just jump straight into it?
Go for it, man. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, man. So let me ask you, bro, like a couple of questions to kind of get a little bit insight on you, to get to know you a little bit, to kind of see if I can really help you out, and outreach to you. And then as well, by the end of the call, if I think I can really help you out, I'll craft you an offer. And then after that, we might start working together. If not, I'll just give you an point to direction when it comes to your strategy and how you can really handle the things. Does that sound good?
Yeah, perfect, man. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I think this is actually a common mistake, and I'm not going to nitpick either. Like, I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. You don't have to actually set the agenda like that. You could just tell them, hey, look, I'm going to provide you a content strategy. I've done an analysis on your personal brand. If I think I can help, great. If not, I'll at least provide some value. Like, that would be sufficient. But I feel like you've watched way too many, like, TikToks or Instagram videos of sales calls and breakdowns like that. Like, it sounds like a pitch, and you never want your client or your prospect to feel like they're being sold to, because when people are sold to, like, their ego goes up, a wall goes up. Oh, you want to take my money? I'm not going to let you take my money. So like by being super professional and laying out the agenda like that, it feels like I'm about to sell you. I'm about to ask you for money. And like this is very common in B2C, business to consumer. When you sell to like beginners, like that's something that, they need a little bit more hand holding. They need that help. But this is a business owner, right? Like the whole point of a content operator is you find a business owner and then you help him with his content so he can make more money, right? And so with a business owner, like chances are they already know this jargon. They know this language, and it's kind of gonna like reduce your authority if it sounds like you're just pitching right off the bat. So, I wouldn't say it like that. I'll make you an offer. Like, obviously you're going to make him an offer. Like, he's not stupid. He's on the call for a reason, right? So I wouldn't say it like that. Once again, it's very like business to consumer minded. Like you're selling B2B, business to business. Like you're a business, you're a content operator, you're selling to a business. Okay. Now the business you're selling to sells to beginners, I understand. And that's the content you'll be making. But at least for the purpose of this sales call, you don't have to sound like that because it's just going to like reduce your whole authority.
If not, I'll just give you an point to direction when it comes to your strategy and how you can really handle the things. Does it sound good?
Yeah, perfect, man. Yeah, go ahead.
Cool, man. Yeah, man. Tell me, so what really made you to really answer to my DM and just hop on this call today?
I don't know. Let me have a look.
Okay.
Good question. Okay, let's have a look. Don't break out of here. I suppose the content marketing side of it, man. Like I see a lot of people doing it. In particular, a guy similar to my business model, also in Ireland, has been doing it for about a year. And
yeah,
I have seen that he only has about 130 subscribers and kind of ranging from 10 to 15 views a video. So that kind of threw me off it, to be honest. I was like,
yeah, I don't really find your YouTube channel. So you say you have your YouTube channel right now, right?
Okay, that a whole portion was redundant. Like, bro, you know why he's on the call. He's content marketing. Duh, like that's what you are, a content operator. You didn't need to ask him that. I think what you meant to ask him is his goals. So you can see like where he's trying to get to, so then you can tailor the pitch. A big part about landing clients is knowing who you sell to, right? So I think that's what you're trying to do, but maybe, you lack the confidence or I guess the experience to do that. I wouldn't ask him, why did you respond to my DM? Like he's on the call. You both know like what's going on here. I would just ask him, like, what are the purposes of your personal brand or what, whatever he's selling? I don't know yet. I guess we'll find out together. But you should have already checked. Like when he responds to your DM, look at his YouTube, look at his Instagram, look at his TikTok, look at his LinkedIn, go to his mom's Facebook page. Like find out everything about him, because I think we can both agree your mom's cooking is more special than McDonald's or fast food. Well, why? Well, because she's going to make the eggs the way you want them made. She's going to like put a little smiley face with the carrots, right? It's going to be personal. And like, yeah, the eggs she got from like Whole Foods, but who cares, right? And so when he sees you've done the extra effort and you're knowledgeable and you've done, the market strategy and you've done your research and everything, he's going to put down his guard. Because like, dude, clients get pitched to all the time. And so how do you stand out? Well, by being personal, So you can't find his YouTube, you shouldn't tell him that on a call. You should have already done that beforehand.
I don't have one.
Oh, you do not have one. Okay, I see. Okay.
Yeah, I have one, but it's for private videos, for just literally just hosting.
I see. Okay, so it's for like...
Okay, here's also kind of another problem. Why are you on the call with him if he has no YouTube? Like, if he's starting from scratch, it's going to be kind of difficult. Not a problem. Like, usually, with content operating services, Instagram is probably better. I get that you're focused a little bit more on the YouTube side. So, maybe that's why you're on it. But also, you got to keep in mind, like, you got to value your time as well. A lot of these people on the calls, they might waste your time because they're not ready. They're not serious business owners. I don't know too much about, this Irish guy, but I guess you just have to like be a little bit more discerning with who you hop on a call. Because sometimes your clients might even pay you, but that doesn't mean they're good clients to work with, right? Like you want to build an actual business. You want to have them on year-to-year contracts, not month-to-month. You don't want them to pay you and then ghost you after 1 month. And it's like, yeah, you made some money, but that time could have been better spent on a super client, like some of my clients that I've been working with for years, And then you develop a real connection and you build a business that's sustainable, that doesn't collapse, and you're not a hamster always trying to find new client. Like, you build something real.
Private lectures and stuff like that for your clients.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, cool, man. I mean, cool. I mean, I was gonna ask you that to kind of see, but yeah, man. I mean, we're on this call to explore how you can actually use the content marketing overall to kind of boost your business and stuff, right? So yeah, man. I mean, I don't know if you want me then. In that case, I can just screen share you, and then I can kind of show what we do, and then after that, you can ask me any questions or anything that comes to your mind. How's that sound?
Go for it, man. Perfect. Sounds good.
Cool, man. Let me just see which screen do I need to really share here. Okay. So. Okay, I found it. Nice. Let me just do this. Okay, so do you see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah, man, overall, man, I've seen that you have been running your agency pretty much very successfully, so I was curious if you were overall looking to actually expand through the content marketing. What I pretty much specialize in, I help like entrepreneurs in Yorni.
Okay, I like that you've done this. It shows that, you know, like, you're not just some random guy. Like, you actually have something to show him, you know, the top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. I love it. I can't tell if it's specific to him yet. You'd want to make it more specific to him, but, you know, sort of, and I'm not going to keep pausing this either, but I do want to, like, hit the things that need to be hit. It's 3 minutes in, bro. You know, like, you haven't built enough rapport. You haven't built enough, you know, back and forth, like, why can I trust you? If you're just pitching right off the bat, it's not going to go down well, okay? Once again, no one wants to be sold to. Like, you shouldn't go into this with a mindset of, I have to sell you. Instead, it's, I have to help you. You know, you're coaching. You're not selling, you're coaching. You know, and that also subconsciously places you as an expert role because you're the one showing him how things should do. I mean, why else should he hire you if you don't know, you know, how to content operate?
Niche, but other niches as well. Start their YouTube brand and then overall expand on the LinkedIn as well. Get their content overall up right on those platforms, and then make sure that their sales cycles go down, that overall they get more inbound clients from the content marketing, right? So I don't know if some of these here are actually...
Yeah, you, what do you mean, I don't know? You should have asked him, right? Like, how do you get people to buy? By making them feel understood and by building trust. You haven't made him feel understood. Like, you have no idea what his pain points are. Like, you wrote out some generic ones, like no inbound calls, relying on referrals. Okay, but like, that's all just broad. You got to ask him, like, what's your biggest problem? Like, why is your agency not doing well? Like you said, I'm sure it's doing well. Like, that also kind of defeats the purpose of him hiring you. If his agency is doing really well, like, he wouldn't need you. So you don't want to say that because it clashes with your ideology. Instead, ask him, like, what's the problem? Like, what's your bottleneck? Like, look, the mentality going to this call is just all wrong. You don't want to be someone selling. You don't want to be like a car salesman that's just trying to take your money. Like, you want to first be a doctor. You want to diagnose his problem. You want to ask his symptoms. Like, when someone goes to the doctor's office, you don't just give them a shot and then send them on their way. No, first you ask them, like, have you had a fever? You know, have you had like cold sweats? Have you been sleeping well? Are you stressed out? And then based on the information he tells you, well, now you curate the pitch, you curate the antidote to what they need. You know, if they have a fever, you're not going to give him, you know, a shot for leukemia. He probably doesn't have cancer, right? You're going to give them what he needs. And so you don't know the shot. I know you have your offer, right? But you have to, once again, you have to tailor it to the client. And you're not doing that. You don't know his pain points. You know, like, you're kind of getting there, but you just skip that whole portion. Like, we're 3 minutes in. You should have already known, like, what's his goals? Why is he struggling? Like, you're a doctor. You're diagnosing your patient, right? You're not just selling. Like, a car salesman would just sell you anything. And people don't like that, right? But instead, let's say I'm trying to sell you a car. Well, come in, I'm going to ask you, so what are you looking for in the market? Well, you know, I have a big family and we want something that everyone can fit in. Okay, well, I'll recommend you the minivan. And then I won't even tell you that it's spacious. You know, if he has a family, he probably values safety. I'll be, hey, look, it's huge. You know, if you ever do get hit, knock on wood, like, your kids will be safe. And so you see how I'm, like, reading in between the lines? Like, he's telling me he wants something that fits his family, But if he has a family and he wants all of them in one car, well, now I'm looking into it. Like, why? I'm asking myself, why would he want? Like, what's something else he might struggle with? Well, maybe safety is a concern. Maybe gas mileage because he has a lot of kids and it gets expensive, right? So that's how I'm going to sell the car. I'm not just going to give him like the brand new Raptor because that's not going to apply to him. He's not going to want it, right? And it's going to turn him off. Like, you have to fix problems that they're experiencing. Like, if you were to tell you, Peter, I'm struggling with being consistent. Well, then you pitch him on automation. Hey, look, I'm a content operator. I'll create scripts for you every week. You'll sit down for 20 minutes. You'll record it, and I'll handle the rest. I'll post them for you. I'll edit them for you. I'll get an editor, whatever. But if he's already posting consistently, you're not going to pitch on automation. You're going to pitch on conversion. Hey, look, don't you think you should be making more money? You're posting every single day. It's been 5 years of you posting. You're still not making, $100K a month or whatever. It's because you're not hitting the right audience. And I've done my research. Your niche is XYZ. These are the pain points. This is what actually drives consumer purchasing behavior. And so, doing more of what's currently not working isn't going to fix your problem. You need conversion. And so do you see, based on what he needs, that's what I sell him on. But I'm not even selling, I'm coaching. I'm providing value. Because, and look, I don't want to be long-winded, but just listen. When a client hops on a call, they don't care about the case studies. They don't care about you. They only have one question. They're busy people. They're business owners. How can you help me? How can Peter help me? You want to close the gap in between hello and the presentation in the shortest time possible to answer that question for you. I can help you because you're struggling with this problem that I asked you about, and I've done my research, and this is how to solve it. And now, like, he's actually going to give a shit, okay? You need to answer that question as soon as possible, but first you have to figure out, like, what is the question, and that's where you're going to ask him. Like, you're leading him down a path. Once again, you're a doctor. You're someone that's coaching him. You're not just selling him on your service.
Actually, the ones that you really struggle with, like if you're running your business right now, if you're like relying on referrals, if you don't have enough calls, if you're struggling to stand out from your competition, if you don't have any inbound calls, or overall if you want to become,
you should have asked him this.
In your space. So that's why I was.
And then he's not gonna say all of them. He's gonna say like one or two, and then you're just gonna talk about those two.
Ask you at the beginning as well, like what exactly specifically brought you to this call with me, and is there anything that really you struggle right now with your business that you would like to?
Okay, that's good. You asked him. But also you should already kind of have an idea, right? You should have already done your research.
Kind of explore the content marketing with,
Yeah, so that current situation, like I am relying on referrals and a small bit of Upwork.
Okay.
I'm currently building a few at the minute, but struggling to stand out from competition. Yeah, there's always going to be competition. Just going bigger teams at a bigger scale.
How does your process of getting clients look at the moment? Like, I assume you're
That's
probably
good.
running email marketing campaigns and as well doing the referrals. You're not?
It's all referrals and Upwork. They're all coming from Upwork.
Okay, I see. Okay, that's fine. Look, man, what I actually do is like I help people like you pretty much get their, message.
What I do is I help people like you. Bro, it needs to be specific. It needs to be custom. Like when you go on a date, do you tell the girl, so what I do is I date girls like you. I'm like, no, you talk about her specifically. You make her feel special, right? That's what you got to do here.
On the market, if they don't really exist, so they can really expand more, right? And then the way I actually do this is like, I know that you don't want to be working in your business and you kind of want to be focused on.
Yeah, what you said is good, and it's good that you're explaining what you do, but it's just not smooth, bro. It's like going on the date, I have a business, and I drive a nice car, and I hit the gym, and, instead, why don't you ask the girl, like, what do you value in a partnership? In a relationship. Well, I want him to be patient. Okay. Yeah, me too. And then you're going to say what you value. And then like an hour down the line, you're conveniently going to tell her a story where you were super patient, right? And you're going to have some finesse. You're going to integrate it well. You're not just going to here's everything, do you want to date me or not? Right? Like it doesn't work that way, right? You have to align your goals. You have to figure out what he wants, what you want, and then find a way to connect them. And this is a life skill. And so a lot about selling and coaching is a consumer behavior analysis, right? It's all like psychology at the end of the day. Like put yourself in your client's shoes. Like this Peter guy just telling me all about him. Okay, but you're on the call about you. Like the client, Irish dude, wants to know how can Peter help me? And yeah, you're telling him it, which is great, but you're not aligning it. You're not adjusting it to him. You're not applying it in the right context.
Working on your business, so that's kind of where I come up with the strategy of how you can really put out this content out there to really scale up, right? So yeah, how many calls would you say you're booking right now at the moment?
That's good.
Per month.
Good question.
I mean, if it's a referral man, to be honest, a lot of the time a call is not even needed, but 7 or 8 probably. I say in February we've done about 7 or 8.
8.
Okay, how many of those do you actually close?
Good job.
Referrals, I assume it's like probably high as well.
But with Upwork as well, so the referrals and Upwork, so you're talking those combined maybe 50%.
Okay, so it's like around 50%. I mean, look, man, what I hear have is like a pretty much new acquisition system that is going.
Okay, ask him how much his service is. So and do the math. Okay, so you close 50% of 8. That's 4. How much? How much are you charging? I'm charging $2,000. Okay, 2,000 times 4. That's $8,000 a month. And then show him like, are you happy with this number? Well, no, I'm not happy. Like, obviously, he's on the call. Okay, well, what number would you want to get to per month? I don't want to get to 20K per month. Okay, so we need to double your lead flow, right? Yeah, we do. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, and now you relate it to the pitch.
Going to bring you more leads, and then as well nurture them through time, obviously through content, and then so at the end of the day, that you don't really need to be relying on your referrals or overall even if you do decide in the end to really run any marketing campaigns or stuff like that, it's just overall going to boost your conversion rate, because once you start getting the leads who are just not coming over the referrals only, right, they're not going to be always closing at the 50%, right? So yeah. Okay, cool, man. I mean, do you want me to show you some of the examples of work that we've done? Some success
Don't ask
stories,
him.
Stuff like that.
Just show
Yeah,
him.
go for it, yeah.
Yeah, cool, man. I mean, let me show you right here. So yeah, man. 2025.
Once again, you're selling here, bro. Like, why not just also like, is this guy in the same niche as him? Like, I get you have this case study, but like the way you've shown it, once again, it's like you're presenting it. Like this isn't like a business meeting where you're Apple and you're pitching consumers or investors, to spend billions on you. Like, just pull up a YouTube channel, say, hey, this is your competitor. This is what he's doing. We worked with someone similar in the space. And like when you put it on a board like this, it just feels tacky, bro.
Alone, we have helped clients to get more than 100,000 subs for names such as Vince Oprah and Dan Thompson. This would include 40 plus clients for the high ticket coaching offer for my client Vince Oprah, 500 plus clients for his low ticket offer, more than $500,000 in profit in around 16 months working with us. We have as well helped him not only run the coaching program, but as well 3 to 4 months ago, we have as well helped him launch a brand new YouTube channel to pretty much attract new leads for the brand new agency offer, okay? And it has gone from 0 to around 800 subs in around first 6 videos working with us, okay? So yeah, overall, we have made more than hundreds of videos right now with some pretty decent results, and all of these videos have overall contributed into building his
It's good you're showing him this though.
Signing more clients for his coaching program.
Yeah, I would stick to the Miro board. Like, I wouldn't do the Google Slides. Just, you built the Miro board. I think it's great. I pitched a client. I landed a client using a Miro board, and I think that's all you need. It was this video right here. I landed him for 3.5K a month plus 10% revenue share. But you'll see, like in my call, I talked to him a lot more. I didn't present as much. And I know you sent me some outreach stuff, but we're going to look at that at the end. Let's keep going with this video.
And as well, his agency that he has actually launched 3 to 4 months ago right now. So yeah, that's pretty much what we specialize in. We help anybody who is super busy, doesn't have really time to do this themselves. That's where we really come in place. So I can show you the funnel.
Okay, so you said doesn't have time to do this themselves. Well, do you know if he's struggling with time? To me, I feel like he has time. I feel like he just doesn't know what he's doing. He's not making money. Okay? It's angles, bro. It's angles. Like, when I was a kid, my mom would always ask me, like, do you want to come to this violin concert? And, like, the answer was always no. Like, I want to play video games. I don't want to go to a violin concert. But then, she would, because my mom's very smart, she would come and be like, well, there's free pizza. And guess who'd go to a violin concert for the free pizza? So she got me to do the desired action. So I'm still going there, but she just took a new approach, a new angle. She just, shifted something that mattered to me, which was the pizza. Does time matter to him? I don't know. I'm getting the feeling the answer is no, right? But we got to ask him, like, what's your main bottleneck? Like, what are you struggling with?
How it actually functioned. This is the exact funnel that we actually used to run for him. So at the top of the funnel content, we would focus on any sort of the content which was just meant to bring us more
Attract is spelled wrong, by the way.
System, right? aka new leads. Middle of the funnel content, we would focus on any sort of videos which would solve a specific problem that the ICP would have, right? And then at the bottom of the funnel, we would have any sort of
the ICP would have. Talk about his ICP, like his ideal customer profile, like who is he selling to? Talk about them. Talk about, what kind of videos they need. It shows that, like, you're going more into depth. It's just too generic, bro. Like, you're on the date and you're talking about, like, bullshit. You gotta talk about things specific to you, specific to the girl.
Videos which would be case studies, testimonials, or client interviews. So this is how the funnel actually functions, and overall has performed pretty well for us. So does it make sense to you?
Yeah, 100%. Sounds good.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, okay, nice, man. So the way it actually works, the whole process, is that we come up with a strategy and we do the research in a specific niche, right? I've already kind of done this in your specific niche. I've mapped it out here.
That's good.
What it potentially could look like. Top of funnel videos would be any sort of the videos which would just spread your brand awareness that you exist.
And this is specific to him. Yeah, well done. This is what I was talking about earlier. But I would have just cut to this way sooner. Like, not all the way here. Like, we're in the middle of the call, kind of. You want to answer his question of, like, why am I listening to you as soon as possible? So this is probably better. The case studies are important, but it doesn't come from there. It comes from, how is it specific to you? How can I help you?
Yes, because you are already doing well for yourself, but
don't say that, because then he won't need you. It's redundant. You're not doing well enough. You could be doing more. Create some urgency, create some scarcity.
I think overall you can probably expand if you just build a brand around what you have already done, right? If more people actually hear about you, what you have overall done. Middle of the funnel would be any sort of searchable videos, which would be in your niche as well. Could be something such as easy as, why your abandoned cart flow is killing your conversions. How
this is great.
Stop my spend.
This is the best part of the call. Like, you're doing the best right now.
Etc. And as the bottom of the funnel could be any sort of the testimonial if you have client interview. And this simple as this works really, really good. So yeah. Yeah, man, overall, after you record a video, like, obviously we can do the consultations. We do consultations with our clients when it comes to the scripts, how they really look. We have our own frameworks that we really kind of plug in, so these videos can really go ahead and work well, right? After that, we handle the packaging. You sit down, record a video. If you need any help about doing the setup, we can help you do that as well. And after that, everything else is kind of being transferred to us. We will make you all the editing. Let me show you here. You will get the thumbnails, you will get the SEO done, packaging, monitoring and management of the most important statistics such as the retention graph, right? Obviously, so we make sure your videos actually perform, and then CDR. So for the clip, for the thumbnail. So does this so far make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So from 1 to 10, how much would you think this is something you would actually be exploring?
Yeah, bro, you've watched way too many Instagram reel videos. From 1 to 10, does this sound good? It doesn't take time to make decisions. It takes information. It's like, just be a normal person. Like, just be genuinely curious. You know who the best interviewers are on the planet are? Like, the best podcasters? They're people that aren't afraid to ask the stupid questions. Like, they're the Joe Rogans. Like, Joe Rogan, he's, like, genuinely curious. Like, when he talks to, his guest, he actually cares. And, like, when there's something that doesn't make sense, he's like, oh, so, like, even if he looks stupid, he still asks that question. Versus the people that have, like, a set chart, and they're like, okay, question 1, question 2, question 3 is very robotic, and so, like, when you're asking them 1 to 10, it sounds like you're going through a checklist. Oh, well, on the call, I need to do this, and I need to do this, and bro, like, you're the coach, you gotta tell him his problem, you gotta diagnose it as the doctor, and then you gotta show him the solution and make him realize, like, oh shit, he needs you. When you ask him for 1 to 10, it kind of ruins that whole thing, and once again, it's not positioning you well.
Yeah, so when it comes to like volume, how many videos a week would I be doing, and how long would the videos be? I'm just trying to gauge how much time this is going to take up from my end.
Yeah, for sure. So, it's pretty much designed so it actually takes you as least amount of time as possible. In my opinion, once you get good at it, it shouldn't take you more than half an hour to just like sit down and record a video, like, you know, pop some lights and stuff to actually record it. But like once you start, if you have never really talked to the camera, it might take you like an hour to really record the shit to the camera. But after that, once you record it, you just send it to us, and we just handle pretty much everything else for you. Obviously, you can send us the feedback once we send you the script straight to you. If you would change anything, we make the changes, and then, yeah, obviously, probably not more than 2 hours per week. So, yeah, how's that sound to you?
Yeah, that'll be good.
Okay, pretty cool.
I would expand on that. Okay, so, you know, it'd be 2 hours. Yeah, how much time would that save you? Well, you know, Peter, it saved me a lot of time. Okay, and with that extra time, like, think about how many more videos you can make. Well, yeah, I could probably make a lot more. And think about how much more money you'd make with all that extra time saved, because now you can put it into things that move the business for you. And so now, like, you're getting him to realize he needs this, right? I would just like emphasize that a little bit more. I wouldn't just mention it once. You know, I think you're just stuck in like the idea of needing to pitch. But if you're just more natural and if you make it actually like hurt, like make his pain points really apparent. Like you gotta showcase what he's missing out on. You have to show him the opportunity cost of not making a decision right now and working with you. And then like when he actually sees it, he'll buy. You know, like people make decisions out of emotion and then they justify with logic after. And so you need to build up that emotion.
Cool. Yeah, man. Let me see. I've as well explore your website here.
That's
on
good.
Your website, on your LinkedIn. Let me see what I can. Do you have any questions, by the way?
That's my own website, man. I've actually I have a new agency now. We're kind of full stack, but the offer will be the same. It'll be email marketing. But if you type in evolvemedia.ie.
Can you write it for me, please?
Yeah.
Okay, at least you've done this. I like this.
Yeah, let me just check it out. Oh my god, I have so many pop-ups here. Okay.
It's so pink.
Evolve Media. Okay, let me check it out. Yeah, so you say that's the full stack company right now, full stack agency?
No. It's still that's a funnel that I'm currently building. It's built out based on the email marketing.
Oh, I actually seen even this one. Yeah, I saw this one. Yeah, I don't know why I opened the other one. Yeah, I've seen this one as well.
Okay, that's his website.
Pretty cool.
Okay.
Okay, let me pause it. Okay, bro. I mean, cool. Pretty cool. Overall, I think we can right now go.
And also, the 1 to 10 question, you didn't even answer it, if you noticed. After you like present, you want to ask him like, do you think this could genuinely help you reach your goal of X? You don't know his goal because you didn't ask him, but like if his goal is whatever, 30K a month, do you think this could genuinely help you reach 30K? And if the answer is yes, perfect. You have him where you want him. If he says no, ask him what's behind that, and then pre-handle an objection, right? Because he might hit you at the end, oh, I need to think about it, or this or that. Like you want to cover everything he might say to not close the deal, so when it's time to actually present him the price or the investment working with you, he has nothing left to say but yes, because you've already covered all the bases.
Go to the straight to the point. So would you like to see the offer?
Yeah, let's see the offer, yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, okay, bro. So this is kind of what you get overall. You get like long form videos that we kind of script and make for you. We obviously do all the strategy and everything. You get a thumbnail. You don't.
Is this per month?
Sorry?
Is this per month?
Is this per month?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so after that we have the content strategy, we have the competitor research, ideas, YouTube SEO, pretty much all the stuff that I've already outlined before. Uploading management, we can have support calls if you even have time for them, right? We do content consulting, and then as well we'll make you the repurposed videos from those long forms onto the LinkedIn. How does it really look like in real time? I can show you right here. You get your SOP. We make you pretty much do the same thing. About your editing style, we craft everything from the beginning. As you can see right here, for both long form and the short form. We have the scripting guides that you can check out if you want to, but overall we'll be probably handling that for you. Here, this is for the short form, and that's it. Yeah, man, so overall, all of this stuff together would go for the 2.2K or for 6K in 3 months, and then it requires no commitment. You can cancel anytime. So yeah.
Okay, and is there a done with you, or is it just done for you?
Okay. I like that you showed him like what it actually looks like. And honestly, bro, like I have no doubt in my mind that you know what you're doing content-wise. Like everything, I haven't looked over it, but like off the top of my head, first glance, it looks pretty solid. So like your problem isn't gonna be actually fulfilling and doing a good job. Like you have the examples, you've worked with other clients before, it's gonna be closing people and like presenting it properly. This right here is not an offer. These are deliverables. Deliverables is what you get, but you don't sell on what you get. You sell on the deal. That's what an offer is. Like it's a good bang for your buck. Like think of like a fitness program. You're going to get a diet plan. You're going to get, chest exercises. That's not the offer. Those are the deliverables. The offer, would be, well, look, you're going to get bigger muscles in 6 weeks. But then you're not even going to sell on that. You're going to sell on the identity because that's so much more powerful. Like think about, when you have bigger muscles, like how are you going to feel? You'll be more confident. You're going to get more dates. People are going to respect you more. That's what you sell on. So you mentioned the deliverables. Obviously, they need to know what they're getting, but you don't actually pitch on that. You pitch on, the getting the more dates part. And then the offer itself is like, for 6 weeks, you get, XYZ and then the goal, like the outcome, that's what you like sell on. The outcome is the bigger muscles. You didn't even mention anything here. Like, why would he pay 2.2K in a month? Well, to get more leads, to get more people interested in his business, so he makes more money. Like the whole point of what you're doing is to make him more money. So your offer wouldn't be 4 long form videos, 4, thumbnails, 4 content strategies a month. It would be an extra $10,000 in sales. And this is how you would do it. This is the how. But your offer itself is once again the outcome, the desired result. I'm happy we're working together, bro, because it's like a beginner mistake. And it's going to cost you so many clients. Another thing, bro, it hasn't even been 15 minutes and you're pitching the price. It's way too short, bro. It's way too fast. You can't expect someone to pay you 2.2K a month within 15 minutes. You got to talk to him more. Like, you got to really understand his problems. Like, what you just did is you hopped on call and you just basically showed him, here's what I do, pay me. It doesn't work that on the date. It's like, yeah, I'm a business owner. I'm 6'2". Let's date. No, like you go on a couple dates first, And I know that you have to pitch him on one call. You have to get him, to buy from one date. But still, there needs to be more back and forth. You need to talk to him more. You can't just like showcase everything and get him to buy. Like you would have to be like an Apple company, like where your brand is really big and they just trust you and you can just give them the price and people buy. But that's not your case. Another little thing is like, I know everything I've seen, like Tube Scale, that's the name of your company. And it's, everywhere. Bro, forget Tube Scale. Like he's not buying into Tube Scale. He's buying you. Like you are your company. Like we're all like as content operators, we're all like small businesses, right? Like with Apple, you have Macintoshes, MacBooks, you have iPhones, you have AirPods, you have everything. So it makes sense, and they have so much authority, and like they're a huge conglomerate, billion-dollar company. With us, bro, people are investing into me and you, into Peter, the content operator, into Emil, the content operator, not into Tube Scale. So you don't need any of that. If anything, I know you want it to be branded, but it actually kind of like, hurts your positioning a little bit. Like you want to be Peter, the right-hand man that can do everything and you can trust, and you can be an in-house operator and you'll have a competitive advantage, hiring him, etc.
Which one would you like to explore more?
The only reason I ask is because you had said to me in LinkedIn messages, you said what I can tell you off the bat is that most of successful clients are typically investing around 2K with us, but we can start with as little as 1,000.
Yeah,
What's that based on?
absolutely. Yeah,
That's another thing, bro. Like 2K a month is nothing. Like it's for bro, you should be pitching 4K a month. That's like a little thing, like psychological trick. When you see a diamond and the diamond is priced at like $50,000, you're gonna assume the diamond is real because why else would it be that expensive? You know, it's high perceived value. So sometimes when it's pitched, like when the diamond's $100, even if it is real, people are gonna assume it's fake because why else would it be $100? So you're underselling yourself. Like it should not be 2.2K a month. It should be minimum 4K a month. And I know for 3 months it's 6, so you're giving them like a $600 discount, but you can't tell. Like I'm cognizant to read the math and I'm analyzing your call, but you want to make it obvious. You 2.2K a month or save. You need to write save $600 or however much it is if you prepay in full 6K. That would be much better.
I mean, as little as 1,000 is if you really want.
And then no commitment canceling. It's not strong enough. You need a risk reversal. You need to take off all the risk on the client and say, hey, look, if we don't land you an extra 2 clients a month, and then you ask them, like, how much is your service cost? Well, it's $3,000. Okay, 2 clients a month at $3,000, that's $6,000. So it would literally pay for whatever investment he would pay you, right? So let's say you make him the 4 videos, you get him 2 clients, they pay him, he makes $6,000. So spending 2.2K or 4K on you, it's profit for him. He's still going to make money. And so that's what you would pitch him on. Hey, look, if I don't get you an extra 2 clients a month, I'll work with you for free until I do. And obviously you'll get him 2 clients a month. Come on, like, you know what you're doing. But that way, like, he feels like no matter what, I'll make a profit. And he doesn't have to risk that much. And the deal sounds so much sweeter. That's an offer. Once again, it's just deliverables right now and it's a price. Like, you haven't integrated it.
Want to make videos yourself, in that case we can edit you the 4 videos probably, we can make you the thumbnails for those same videos, right? And then we can post it for you if you want to, and we can probably give you some directions. You can ask us anything. So that's what it includes, but everything else over here you kind of do on your own, but we do the editing and we make you the thumbnails pretty much. So yeah, and you can obviously ask me any questions.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's how it pretty much looks.
Okay. And then, so if I used to pay the 1K, what is that excluding exactly in comparison to the 2.2K?
I mean, at 1K a month, you're basically a video editor. You're not a content operator. You're not an asset. Dude, never pitch below 3K a month, bro. Like, it's not even worth it. Like, you'll have 10 clients at 1K. You make 10K a month, but then you have to outsource the work to a video editor. You have to pay the video editor. You have to talk to 10 clients at once, 10 editors. That's 20 people a day. Like, you'll be screwed. Like, that's an agency. We're operators. We want one super client, one editor, and we want to sit back, build a content system once, and just manage the process. That has way more leverage. And, personally, I'd rather have one girlfriend that's a 10 out of 10 smoke show instead of, 10 average ones, right? And because it's only one client, I'll be able to provide much more value because all my time and attention is focused on him and his results.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get repurposed videos on LinkedIn. We'll probably still make you the style for the editing, right? Because we're going to be editing your videos at the end of the day. We'll do some of the consultings, but overall, you'll be spending a lot more time throughout the week just micromanaging a lot of this stuff yourself, which you probably...
Bro, what's the desired result? More clients, more money. I'm going to make you more money. Just dumb it down. You're doing all these little small things and it's getting overwhelming. It's getting confusing. I'm reading this. Script outlines, support calls. We're going to make you more money. Okay, Irish guy. Okay, and if we don't, then we'll work for free until you make a profit. Let's do business together. Simple, and it's easy to comprehend. A lot of marketing is just dumbing things down because if you talk too much and you over-explain, they're going to get overwhelmed and they're going to have to think about it. And you want it to be straightforward and sound really good. And then maybe you can even add a bonus. Hey, look, if you make a decision on this call today, I'll shave off $500. Just because I want to, work with action takers and I prioritize, people that invest with me right off the bat because, typically people that make a decision, they get better results and I want to incentivize those people to work with me. That's a true offer.
Do not want to be doing,
Yep.
So you will have to come up with your content strategy alone, which is this stuff here. Map out the funnel itself. This is what I showed you right here.
I feel like he doesn't know what a funnel is. Like, you kind of have to. I feel like this guy's is new, right? He says he only gets referrals. He doesn't even have a YouTube. Like, this is too advanced for him. You know, once again, you're not being specific and tailoring the pitch to your client or your prospect. Like, you have to tell them, hey, look, the reason there's a funnel is because it's very unrealistic from organic traffic. Like, if you have an ad, it's different. You have one ad, you know, people watch it, they either buy it or don't buy. But you're pitching them on YouTube, which is videos posted for free. And so you have to tell them it's very unrealistic. Someone watches one video and buys. Sometimes they watch one video, they watch two videos, they watch three videos, and then they buy. Okay, and then you tell them about like the psychology behind it. You know, there's the 7-11 rule. You know, a prospect needs to watch you for 7 hours. There needs to be 11 touch points and blah, blah, blah before they're actually able to buy from you. Like, that's the average statistic. You can look it up. And tell him, hey, look, this is why we have top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. We have to split up the content because we can't just post once and get a sale. Like, we have to have the broad stuff that gets people interested in us, interested in whatever you're selling. The middle stuff, which is more specific to our audience, and the bottom of the funnel stuff where we actually sell. And when you break it down, you explain the psychology. One, it shows Peter knows what the hell he's talking about. And two, it like makes it obvious, oh, like, I'm going to have this problem that I didn't even know about. And Peter's shifting a belief in me. He's shifting a belief that I can do this on my own because you can't do it on his own. Therefore, I need Peter. I better pay him.
You know, this is the stuff that you're really missing out on. So we take more of an approach as an editing agency, not really as like the lead gen through.
Bro, you're not an editing agency. You're a content operator. Look, when I pitched you, Peter, and you paid me thousands of dollars, and we've never met before. Like, we hopped on one call, and you paid me thousands of dollars. I diagnosed your problem. I asked you, like, you know, how long have you been doing this for? And you're like, oh, you know, I've been in agency struggling to get clients for 4 months. And then I was like, okay, well, you know, you need to fix this and this to get to your goal, which I asked you before the call. And you're like, yeah, but, you know, I just need more time. And then I made you realize, hey, look, you've had 4 months to do this. So do you think it's a time problem or a skill problem? You know, is it a skill gap or a time, you know, inconsistency? And I didn't tell you, obviously I know it's a skill thing, but I need you to come to your own conclusion. Have you ever watched the movie something with Leo DiCaprio? I forgot what it's called. Like, they go into people's dreams and they make the person having the dream think it's their thought. Hey, when people think it's their like own conclusion, you know, they're more susceptible to take action because it's not someone telling you what to do. It's like they feel like they've come up with it themselves. And it's their initiative. So you need to ask them leading questions that gets them to literally the point you want them at. So I asked you, is it a skill issue or do you think it's a time issue? And I told you, but I prefaced it saying, hey, look, you spent 4 months doing it. So, you know, I don't think more time is going to fix it. And you're like, oh yeah, right, it's a skill issue. I'm like, okay, so if it's a skill issue, then you don't need more time. What do you think the skills are to actually be able to have leverage and land clients as a content operator to hit 10K per month? Well, you know, I need to know how to pitch clients. And I'm like, okay, so do you think everything I've just shown you is going to put you in the best possible position to succeed? Well, yes, I do. Okay, so what do you think you need to do in order to actually be able to pitch clients? And then I sell you on the identity to make 10K per month, be able to travel, provide for his family, and XYZ. And now you're like, oh shit, I need to work with Emil. So I led you to that point and I broke things down by asking you questions, not just by telling you things and making you realize it's not a time problem. I'm shifting the limiting beliefs in real time in your head, and I'm sitting there and I'm silent. And I'm giving you time to think about it. I'm letting it hit. It's impactful. I'm not just blabbering the whole time, bye. I'm not doing that.
The agency, if that makes sense for you. So that's the biggest difference. We'll just be an editing agency for you, if that's what you prefer. Yeah.
If that's what you prefer. You don't prefer that, Irish guy. Because you'll get screwed. Like, anyone can edit videos, but whether the videos make you money is a whole different story, and that's why you need an operator. Like, that's the shift I'd make.
Yeah, cool, man. I'll have a think. I wouldn't, you know, I don't just jump straight in and...
Yeah, for sure.
No, not, yeah, for sure. I don't just jump straight in. Oh, can I ask you what's behind that? Well, you know, I always like to think through my decisions. Okay, so are you happy with the results you've gotten so far? Well, no, I'm obviously struggling. I'm on this call for a reason. Okay, so then if you continue making decisions based on things that haven't worked in the past, what makes you think that thinking about it or, sitting on the sidelines is going to lead you to a different result or the desired outcome? Well, yeah, when you put it that way. Okay, so in order to actually get better results, we need to take new actions. New actions, new results. What sort of new action do you think can put you in the best possible position to succeed? And then you talk about the identity again, to make whatever, an extra 8K a month and retie it back to his goals. I don't know what his goals are. You should have asked him, but that's where you place it in. And so now like that, you're back in the game.
I don't want to do these pieces on my own. I'd rather pay you the 2.2K if I was to do it anyways. I'll just have a think on it and I'll get back to you.
Cool. So,
can I ask you what's behind that? Well, I need to think about it. And we already covered, how to handle that objection of, hey, look, it won't take time. It'll take information. And then, I would just keep, I wouldn't agree with him. I would keep challenging him because he's going to see you as an authority when you challenge him, right? When you're overly agreeable, people won't take you seriously. If you're on that date with a girl and you agree with everything she says, bro, you're probably being fake. You don't just agree with everyone on anything, right? Just to try to build rapport. And also, you're trying to make him pay you. So you got to show him that he's missing out on something, right? It's opportunity cost. You need to make him realize the cost of inaction is going to cost him more than the 2.2K investment with you. Like, Peter, you and me, when we were on the call, what did I make you realize? I made you realize, hey, look, if you do this on your own and you don't invest in working with me one-on-one, that's a worse decision because you're going to end up spending more wasted time and more wasted money making beginner mistakes that you could have otherwise avoided. And then I'd give an analogy sometimes. I'd say, hey, look, it's like you're standing in front of the Empire State Building. And yeah, you could take the stairs, but you might get lost halfway up. You might get tired. You might quit. Or you might, not even try. And you've already been trying, for the last 5 months and you haven't seen results. So what makes you think you can do it on your own? Or you can invest in taking the elevator and it's going to shoot you right to the top because the elevator has already, been through all the stairs and knows everything and the elevator is much faster anyways. And think about it, it's business. This isn't the gym. You're not going and lifting weights and getting stronger, you versus you. It's a competition. It's you versus every other content operator. So if every other content operator is working with me, they have that competitive advantage. They have the systems, the AI tools, they know how to close clients. How are you going to land the people that you're competing with that have better systems and better support? And then you're realizing, oh shit, if I don't invest with Emil, I'm screwed. And I'm just going to spend more money, making more mistakes and waste more of my time. And so that's how I got you to buy. And it's not like a gotcha moment. I'm genuinely helping you. Sales is about helping people, right? It's about like tying your goals together. The problem is when people just sell for the money, but that never works because you ruin your reputation. People don't take you seriously and you don't build a business that's sustainable. It collapses on you later down the line. And no one wants that. We want actual financial freedom. We want at least 10K per month consistently for years on end that actually grows. On top of this, I would also add a percentage of sales, bro. You want to tie your success to him, like I just mentioned. If you're just, and the way you would pitch it is, hey, look, instead of just paying me a monthly fee and I just do the stuff and if it gets results, blah, 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 you win, I win. It's not really the same thing as if, our goals are tied together. With this 10%, of the sales generated from the content I make for you, now I'm incentivized to make sure it actually makes you money because it'll make me money. And that way we can both grow together. That's how I'd change it.
So, can I ask you one question?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so what would this make a no-brainer offer for you to really, what are you thinking about it? Because usually when you need time to think about something, it's that you need more information, right?
Yeah, so basically what I've been thinking about is, so I'm currently building out my funnel and it's obviously, I have a budget set aside for that as well. So this is kind of pointless to have if I don't have a funnel to push it towards, that.
Wrong. Because, bro, you could have the perfect funnel, you could have the perfect website, but if you don't get people to visit the website through the content, you're screwed. Right? Even if you have a horrible funnel and a horrible system, the content's still more important because if you have 1 million people on your website, even if the website's complete shit, you're still going to make money. But if you have the best website in the world and you have 2 people on it in a month, good fucking luck. So that's what I would tell them right now. It's well, you're focused on the wrong things, because the system's irrelevant. You need to build up an audience to sell to first. You know, in the system, you can. And why are you investing in the system when you haven't invested in your content first? Like, you know, you need to have a top-down approach. You're doing things in the reverse order for no reason.
That funnel I showed you isn't exactly finalized yet.
Sure.
You know, it's like, this is an analogy I'd give. It's like you're building a car and trying to make, you know, the tires look as perfect as possible, but you forgot the engine, right? The engine is the content. First, build the engine and then figure out the car based on the engine. Because what if the engine's big and now you need, you know, a bigger front hood? Or what if it heats up really easily, so you need more intakes on the side? You need, you know, the air, like the holes that have the air intake and put it in so it like cools down faster. Like, you're doing this in the wrong order. You have to make him realize that.
And to be honest, I did think that the whole kind of done for you thing would be around the 1K rather than the 2.2. That's just basically the ball off for DMs. That could be my bad.
Yeah, okay, no worries. I mean, maybe I as well didn't formulate that message well enough, so it's gonna be clear enough. But yeah, that's maybe even my bad.
Yeah, no worries, man.
I would mention a competitor. I'd be like, hey, look, you know, you're losing out on making sales because this competitor specifically, pull up his YouTube, you know, is investing in his content. And so, like, how are you going to compete with him if you're spending $1,000 a month and this guy's spending, you know, 4,000? And he's making more videos and he's taking all of the market when you could also be doing that. You know, how are you going to compete? You know, make him realize, you know, he's missing out on something. You know.
I'm interested in, but there's no point having it until.
No, he's not interested, bro. Like, you know, actions speak louder than words. You need to like read through these people. Okay, so they'll tell you one thing, but if they don't match their actions, they don't really mean it. You know, it's easy to say words, it's hard to take action. People say things they don't mean, but they don't take actions they don't mean. Every action they mean, every word, you know, you got to first see, like, do they actually, you know, do their words stick to stone, right? Like when you're on a date and the girl's saying something and, you know, maybe she's trying to be a little bit politically correct, like, you can just call her out. You can be like, you don't actually mean that, do you? And then you'll see she her face lights up. She's relieved. Oh, okay, like, you know, I just wanted to be polite, and that's how you build an actual connection. You know, by being real, by being authentic. And so, like, he's just bullshitting you right now, and you need to read through that. Okay, like, you don't take his words at face value. It's all consumer psychology at the end of the day. Like, it's all psychology. You're not selling. You're literally helping him. You know, as a doctor, diagnosing his problems, asking his symptoms, you're coaching him. You know, that's the biggest takeaway. If I'm just blabbing on for an hour here, if there's one thing you can remember, it's just the mentality going to the call is, how can I help you? Answer that question as soon as possible. And then after that, you know, have an offer, not deliverables, and you're good to go.
I have a funnel ready to actually push this traffic too, because I don't want to just create the videos for the sake of educating people. Like, there has to be a sales process behind it as well.
Not really. You can build up an audience that trusts you first and then sell to them. Like, why do you have to sell right off the bat? Right? Like, you're putting the cart before the horse. The most important thing is that you have an audience to sell to. And so content's always number one. There's not a single business in the world that can survive without content. Okay? That's why content operating is such a universal skill. Whether it's drop shipping, you know, whether it's Amazon, whether it's Apple, like, no business can survive without advertisement, without marketing. Everyone needs content, so, like, his priorities are all wrong, and you need to tell him that.
So yeah, so I suppose think about that. Like, is it worth my money right now?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Obviously,
it is worth your money.
Finalized, I have a review with my funnel guy in 2 hours, so that'll play a part too.
Got it. I mean, okay. I mean, that's like a pretty solid thing.
Yeah.
It's not a solid thing. Like, why are you agreeing with him? You know, that doesn't help you.
Yeah.
I know you're trying to build rapport, but, like, you should have already built it by now, and this is when you really challenge him. And he'll respect you more when you challenge him, because you're telling him, you know, what he needs to hear, not what he wants to hear.
It just shows me that you're thinking long term. I'm not gonna really, like, do any, you know, sleazy salesy tactics here to, like, pressure or push, you know? Just...
Okay, you don't want to pressure him or sell him, but you just spent the whole call pitching him. Right? Like, you just defeated your own point. Like, you know, if you're going to have a whole presentation, just tell him, hey, look, pay me 2.2K, this is what I do. You literally just sold him the whole, like, part. You know, I'm not saying high pressure him, but I'm saying, like, the way in which you went about it is literally exactly that. You should have, like, built rapport, found out his goals, and yeah, I'm repeating myself a lot, but I'm trying to drive home a point here.
Like, have your time, think about it. You can definitely let me know. I've as well showed you like what we have
Yeah,
done.
I wouldn't say let me know. I'd ask him like, what's missing, But like you wouldn't even get to that point if you did everything else right.
Paint when it comes to this on my social media. You can check out again my VSL. It's tubescale.com. You have everything there. You have seen the process. We map out the whole funnel. In my opinion, we're one of the decent in the industry because...
Not in my opinion. Like, look, Irish guy, you need us. I feel like you're trying to be nice to build that connection and seem real and authentic, but you're lowering your authority to do so. So you don't want to go about it that way.
We've been working in the content creation space, which is the niche I meant to say, which is one of the most difficult ones. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
What I'm going to do is, man,
I would talk about his niche. Look, it's already super saturated. You're competing against XYZ. You got to stand out. Like, this is how you stand out. And you tell him this stuff, right? Like, you're kind of getting to it, but like you're not fully digging deep. You really want to hammer the pain points to actually get him to like have that like emotional epiphany. And at the same time, like, you're going to help him. Like, there's still logic behind it, right? But like, once again, people buy when they feel understood, when they trust you, and they think that you can actually help them.
I'm going to send you my phone number here, and will you send me over all these bits on WhatsApp, so when I get back to you, I have you on WhatsApp, because I'm rarely on LinkedIn, to be honest. You actually called me at a good time.
Yeah, sure. So you're saying you want me to follow you up in some time?
Just send me everything you showed me here. Send it to me, because I will show it to my business partner as well. There's two of us in it.
Oh, you have a business partner, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I didn't even know that you had one, but okay, pretty cool.
All right, you didn't pre-handle objections, and when he said he has a business partner, you're shocked. Honestly, maybe he's lying. Maybe he doesn't have a business partner. But if he does, in the beginning of the call, like, you want to ask him, are you the main decision maker in your business? Well, actually, I have a business partner. Okay, so how come he's not on the call here? Oh, because I want to look at it first. Well, then you say, well, look, it's not going to be a productive meeting if everyone isn't inside it. So I'd rather wait until everyone's in the call so that we can all make a decision together. Otherwise, we're just relaying information. It's not as productive. It's not as time efficient. And I'd rather be more effective. Okay, and then you won't run into this problem. But like, also, I don't think he has a business partner. I think he's just bullshitting. Like, that's the thing, bro. It's like you have to be like super specific with who you work with as well. Like, I wouldn't even have reached out to this guy if he has no YouTube, right? Same thing with like the date. Like, you're not going to go on a date with any girl because they might just waste your time, and even if you did date her, maybe you won't even want to date her, right? Maybe she has like a huge red flag. Like, she just wants you for your money or something, not for you as a person. And so you don't just hop on with anyone, right? Like, actually like hop on with only people worth your time.
Yeah. Okay, I'll send you that. Are you gonna just shoot me out the number on the LinkedIn, right?
Yeah, no, I sent it to you here in the chat.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just copy.
Okay,
This is the same number that you
I think we get it.
Not disappearing anywhere. I'm gonna be doing this for a long time. Why do you think? Like, setting up all the funnel and stuff, okay?
Cheers, lovely, thank you, man. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. See ya, bye-bye.
Yeah, speak to you, man. Bye-bye.
Yeah. I think we covered everything. You got to be more specific, bro. Let's look at some of the outreach. Hey, Jonathan, I see that your agency is doing pretty good. Have you ever considered expanding about using content marketing? It's redundant. Obviously, they want to scale, bro. What kind of business doesn't want to grow? We've helped our clients generate... Who? Which client? And do I even trust this? Like, it's got to be specific. Instead, hey, Jonathan... You're selling to this niche. These are the pain points you should consider. Look at your competition. How come you're not doing, and then identify a gap in the market? You're not doing, a value-based format, shifting limiting beliefs in your 18 to 24-year-old target audience. And then show them an example. Like, that way you're showing you've done your research. Like, you've went above and beyond, right? Like, this is so generic, bro. Like, you want to be a sniper. You want to pick out the perfect client and have, like, the perfect bullet and just bam. You don't want to just like mass DM random crap because you just look like a beginner. It's generic. Hey, Victor, loving your content LinkedIn. I stumbled upon your YouTube channel recently. Curious if you're looking to expand it. Yes, you are. You don't need this. This is just bullshit. We help. Yeah, it's the same thing. Hey, Victor, this is what you're doing, but you're missing out on extra sales because you're not doing this. This is how I would help you. And then talk about your case study. Honestly, you don't even need case studies. Like, if they see the value, they'll buy. It's like the Lamborghini example I gave you earlier. That's the main thing, bro. Look, I see a lot of potential. Like, I'm super excited to work with you, Peter. Like, I genuinely think like you can actually get big results. Like, I want you to be my next biggest success story. And that's why I'm being like harsh on you, tough. Like, trust me, it's because I want you to do well, okay? If you can make it much more specific, if you can make these calls longer as well, and not just purposely longer where you're saying bullshit, like you're actually learning about him, like you're being curious, like you're actually trying to figure out what his problem is. Like, Peter, when you and I hopped on a call, like I showed you stuff at the very end, yeah, but in the beginning I was trying to figure out like, okay, how can I help Peter? Well, you're an agency. Okay, well, agencies have no leverage. You need to be an operator. And I made you realize why being an operator works. And I just didn't just tell you, I didn't just show you, I asked you questions that led you there. Okay, so you've been struggling for 5 months, and you know your biggest bottleneck is sales. Well, do you think if you had the proper structure you could land clients? Well, yeah, Emil, I do. Okay, so what do you think the proper structure would entail? Well, you know, I'm struggling with the actual objections part. Okay, and that'd give you some value. Well, here's like a common objection, how to handle it. And then I'm building rapport. I'm also asking, like I asked you, where are you from, Peter? You're like, oh, I'm Serbian. I'm like, oh, I'm Bulgarian, you know? And then like, where in Serbia, you know? So you're also having a little bit more of that like back and forth. And you're just not being scared to ask questions and challenging them. Like, you have to challenge them, because if you're not going to challenge them, they're not going to see you as someone that can help them. Like, you don't want to be a yes man. No one wants a yes man in their life. And if they do want a yes man, you're not going to provide value. And that's not a client's going to pay you anyways, right? Yeah, that's it, bro. I hope this helps. Yeah, I'm being tough on you, bro, because I love you. Just remember that. All right, so that was the full call analysis. Now I'm going to have a one-on-one meeting with Peter himself, and I'll kind of go over the main points again and reiterate and further explain the most important aspects of closing a content operating client. And then I'm actually going to take some clips from my weekly group call with all my other content operating students and also put them in this video just so you guys can have the most context possible. Because look, at the end of the day, you know, closing a client it's an art, it's a skill, and it's something that you should definitely learn, because I mean, you saw with Peter, you could be a great operator, but if you don't know how to actually portray that to clients, you'll still be broke. And so, you know, the big thing is like with the objections, actually reading through the lines, you know, they might tell you something, but what they actually mean is quite the opposite. Like, let me give you another example. So let's say the client gives you 3 objections at once. You know, I need to talk to my business partner, I need to think about it, and it's too expensive. Well, chances are, you know, if they give you 3 things at once and it's just out the cut and there's a lot to handle, you know, the real reason is something else. And so if they have a lot of problems, you know, in general, maybe the problems themselves aren't actually what they're concerned about. It's more about they lack certainty. And that's why they have all these problems, because they're projecting. But in reality, you know, you can never have certainty with businesses. And so that's why you have to sort of like handle it. You can say, hey, look, you know, you could still get in a relationship with someone and they could still cheat on you. Does that mean you should never date again? Well, no. And so you'll never really have certainty. That's why we have the risk guarantees for you, and you try it out and see if you like it. And so that's kind of a way to handle it. And on top of that, you curate everything so it's much more personal. Like, I recently landed a client, actually a video on this channel, and you'll see my Miro board versus Peter's was drastically different. Peter's was very generic, it was very general about, you know, the market as a whole, but mine was specific to my client. It was specific to Lucas, and it had his content, his competitors, and that was, you know, the biggest game changer. So give them an illusion of choice, you know, so when you make an offer, you know, give them multiple things to consider. You know, give them, let's say, you know, they get content plus, you know, consulting, or they just get the consulting, or they just get, you know, a strategy. And then you can have a fourth one, which is a bundle of everything. And so this way, they're not thinking, do I buy, do I not buy? They think, you know, which one should I buy? Right? That's another little, you know, like trigger you can use. And like, none of these are hacks, right? Well, once again, you're not tricking your client. You're helping them make a decision because you know you're going to help them. Right? And you're going to do good business, and then you're going to have, you know, goodwill going into it. Really what you want to do is, it's actually a CIA interrogation technique. It's called elicitation. And so you're not directly telling him or asking him, hey, look, you know, do you want to buy? Instead, you're gaining information by making statements or assertions. So if I go and ask the bank robber, hey, did you rob the bank? He's going to say no. His ego's going to go up while you calling me a thief. Instead, you would go to the robber and you would say, that was a big robbery last night. And whatever he says next is information, and he's revealing his cards. If he says, yeah, it was a pretty big robbery. Well, hold on. How do you know what a robbery looks like? You know, if you ask an everyday person what's a big robbery, what's a small robbery, they won't really know the details. How do you know specifically? Well, chances are you're somewhat involved in it, right? And so that's how you gain information out of people. It's called elicitation, and that's what you want to be doing in the sales calls. You want to be trying to figure out what their goals are, what their main objections are, pre-handle all that, and then once you've done, you'll make money. You know, at the end of the call, if you get objections, it means you haven't done your job right. If you pitch properly and you align your goals, it's just going to be a straight yes. There's not going to be like thinking about and being uncertain. So I just wanted to make that last point, but now I'll show you the call with Peter and with the rest of my students. And don't forget, if you want to be a part of this, if you want me to analyze your content operating work, your closes, everything, and work with you one-on-one so you can actually land a client, just head down below the first link in the description. You can apply to work with me. You and I will hop on a one-on-one call. I'll make you a game plan moving forward. And if we're a good fit, you know, you could maybe even be my next YouTube video or at least one of my next case studies. So yeah, let's get into it. Bro, I know I kind of was a little tough on you on the call, but I know that the information is really going to help out.
No, the information is probably the best thing that I've seen so far this year, to be honest. It's the most phenomenal thing I've honestly ever seen, you know? So it's like, it's exactly what I kind of needed. Finally kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel, because I kind of know what I'm doing wrong and what needs to get fixed, right? Before it was like, you know, guessing, right? But right now there's no guessing. It's just like black and white, do this, right?
Like if you can just learn to read in between the lines. And so if someone tells you, yeah, you know, they value the consistency, well, then, like, you know, what does that mean? Well, it means they want to scale their business because, like, they're putting all their time and attention and they want to post without missing, like, weeks, without missing days. So it's really important to just be able to kind of sit back and listen.
Yeah.
If we're always pitching, if we're always talking, like, we never really get to interact with the prospect, and then we treat them like a number. Like, oh, like, I had 10 calls today, I closed 1. Yeah, but those are 10 different people. Okay, like we forget about that sometimes. And so I think the biggest thing, especially when landing clients, is, you know, figure out their pain points, figure out their goals, and then listen to them and figure out what are they actually telling you. And then obviously just know who you sell to, right? So that's why it's like super important, like with the niche outline and everything, you know, it's week 1 for a reason. We all did it. And Peter, I know we're doing it together today. But the biggest point is like, okay, you realize we do some research on the prospects, and now like we're more prepared for the calls.
Yeah, of course. And it's not only that, but like overall my calls were like 20 minutes. How can you close anybody in 20 minutes, right? But I think it's probably because of the inexperience, just not knowing how to really, you know, hold a proper sales call. I even on the first onboarding call, it's the first call ever with you, pretty much. I knew from the beginning that my biggest bottleneck and issue is like, you know, sales, because even with the outage that I did, which is horrendous, right? Too generic, right? I knew like, sure, I get these guys on the call, but at the end of the day, I cannot close them, right? And that's an issue. So yeah.
Yeah. So that was the first part, the pitch, where, you know, you didn't build rapport, didn't figure out your goals. You just went directly into the presentation. But then after that, like a huge piece of the puzzle is also the offer. You know, people want to feel like they're getting good value, that they're getting a deal. And so it's all about us as a content operator to structure the deal to give them, you know, as little risk as possible and also get paid. And so there's a difference between deliverables, which is what you get, and then an offer, which is the deal. Yeah. Did you have any more questions about kind of how that works?
No, I mean, you were very concise on everything. I need to build a report. I need to just, you know, listen more to the prospects and not talk over them. That was like the issue, that I didn't really know what was the structure behind the sales calls. And then as well, what really opened my eyes is just the way you do the outreach, you know, because it's like completely different from what I've done it by now, you know. I've been just sending, you know, depending on the current case studies that I was having, you know. And one big thing as well, why I think I was not able to close them, is what you said in the call, that what I presented them really didn't apply to them. And that was like a big issue, because what you did in a sales call with Lucas on your YouTube channel, right? Is like you tailored everything to his needs and his niche, while I was more like, oh yeah, I work with this guy, you know, we've done these results, but as you said, like they don't really care if it really doesn't apply to them, you know. So that was like a very big eye opener that I need to really, you know, personalize it way more than I did, and not treat them as like, you know, what you said, like shooting many bullets, but just like more like a sniper, you know, and then just
Yeah.
like hit the pain points.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. It's like, and this goes for everyone inside, not just on the calls, but also the outreach. The biggest question your clients have when talking to you is, how can you help me? You know, that's the whole point of why they'd hire a team, why they hire a content operator. They want an asset. You know, they don't want a video editor for $4 an hour that they could find from India or Pakistan, right? They want like a right-hand man that's going to actually implement a content strategy and it's going to make them more money. So if you can cut down the time in between saying hello and pitching them and answering that question of here's how I can help you, you'll up your chances of landing them by like tenfold. And then you can talk about your case studies. And then, you know, you could have all the proof and everything at the end. But the number one thing is like, you know, I'm diagnosing your problem. Well, hey, look, you're talking about, you know, investing, but your content has nothing to do with your offer. Or you're using the same angle everyone uses of financial freedom, but you're not talking about the stability of the markets or whatever. And you showcase, hey, look, I'm thinking about your content. I've done my research. I can provide value to you. And I answer your question of, okay, how can Emil help me? And now they're much more willing to open up, pay attention to your case studies, validate the points that you're making, and give you a shot.
Yeah.
And I know, like, we're the ones trying to land clients. So obviously, like, you know, take every opportunity. But take every opportunity means, you know, still filter. Because the last thing you want is hopping on a call with someone that's just wasting your time. And that, you know, this happened to me yesterday. Yesterday, someone booked a call with me. They were interested in learning content operating, joining the program. And then, like, within the very first second, I was like, bro, this guy's going to pitch me. Like, he was standing there like this. His microphone is here. And he was all like upright and tight and like as if like he was the one that needed to sell. And I immediately noticed that. And it also kind of ties back into like being a doctor and diagnosing your patient. You know, you guys have to learn to read in between the lines. And so the entire call, he was asking me questions about content operating. But then I also kind of got the sense that like he was like running some business on the side. And sure enough, halfway through the call, he pitched me on my funnel. And I was like, bro, like this is not the way to go about it. And he's like, well, what do you mean? He's like, you know, I'm taking my opportunities. I'm like, no, you idiot. Like you're starting off the relationship with bad will. Like you lied to me about pretending to be interested. And now you're pitching me. You know, even if you had the best pitch in the world, even if I thought you could really help me, why would I waste my time with someone that pretended to want one thing, but then ended up doing something else? And he couldn't really answer. He just kind of stood there like, he's like, yeah, but I thought you wouldn't answer your DMs. I'm like, all right, well, that's not my problem. You know, it once again, it's like people's time is valuable, especially like the clients you guys are trying to land. And you want to land the good clients because they have the money to pay you the best. And also you can get the best results with them because they're serious business owners. So it's really important you answer that question. How can I provide you the most valuable system and content process within literally like the first 5 minutes? You know, you don't have to go and be like, here's what it is. You can ask them a couple questions first. You can, you know, ease into it. Like be a normal person. Don't just go in with the mentality and idea of just sell, 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 sell. But I love that you said listen. That's a huge thing people don't do. They don't listen on sales calls. They're just so worried about, okay, step 1, build rapport. Step 2, find goals. Step 3, presentation. But then it seems robotic. You know, like it needs to be authentic. And truly, when you have all the information, when you've done your research, you know the niche, you know the pain points, you're so confident that whatever question they ask you, you're going to give them a super specific answer that you're not really worried about step 1, step 2, step 3. Like it's a guideline, but it's not an actual like checkbox of you have to do it. You want to kind of flow through the call. and just show, hey, look, I'm calm because I know the information and I'm not worried that I'm going to make a mistake. And like, once again, this applies to every aspect of life. Like, you know, when you go on a date with a girl and she like says things, you know, try to figure out like why she's saying these things. And that's just like a way to practice it, right? Like I was on a date last week with a girl and she said something that was, it sounded way too politically correct. And the way she said it, she kind of like stopped to think about the best way to say it. And after she said it, I looked at her, I'm like, you don't really think that, do you? She's like, no, I don't. And it was like a relief. And she was like, damn, like I can be myself around you. I'm like, yeah, you don't have to filter yourself. And then so there's like a little moment of connection, but that never would have happened if I didn't kind of take that risk and be like, oh, you really don't believe that. And like follow my intuition and read the situation too. You know, not just take everything at face value, because clients will tell you, yeah, I can make a decision, and then they don't make a decision. Like a lot of selling is human psychology. It's human interaction. And this is honestly why I love content, because it's the best way to do it. If you can understand who you sell to, if you can understand their pain points, well, then you can position your client and yourself as an operator as the bridge to the actual like answer, you know, problem. And then you're the bridge and they get to the answer. And that always like influences purchasing behavior. So, you know, it's a skill that you should all learn. It's a skill that transfers with any aspect in life. And then, you know, the last thing I'd want to mention is the angles. If you're seeing that, you know, what you're doing is kind of working, but it's not really landing, you know, you're looking for impact. You're looking for a moment they go, oh, well, there's like a little like light bulb in their brain, because then it hits. And if you don't see it, well, then try saying the same thing, but in a different way. You know, you tie it to their values. If they really want automation, like they're struggling to be consistent, pitch an automation. Be like, yeah, like obviously these work, they're going to convert. But the biggest thing is that you're able to run your business while having your content system, you know, fully up and running simultaneously. But maybe they're posting every day and they're already consistent. They're just not making enough money from it. They're not getting leads. Well, now it's useless to pitch on automation because they already have that down. And so that's what tailoring the pitch entails. And now we'll say, well, hey, look, you're posting every day. Don't you think you should be making more money? Well, yeah, you know, I only did, you know, 10K this month, but okay, well, don't you think if you optimize the content so it converts better and it hits your ICP, your ideal customer profile, you can get at least 2 extra sales, which will give you, you know, another 5K this month? Oh, well, yeah, well, okay, well, here's what we'll do. I'll come in, I'll implement the content system. Don't pay me anything. Let me get you those 2 extra sales, and then I want 5K a month and 10% revenue share. That sounds a million times better than, hey, give me money. This is my pitch. This is what I did last week with this client. Because it's custom. It's like I care about you. The most important is the mentality going into it. You're a doctor, you know, diagnosing them. You're not just selling them, you know, this prescription, because it's probably not going to help. You know, what are your symptoms? Well, my automation sucks. My conversion sucks. I have coronavirus. Okay. And now as the doctor, you can be like, okay, well, for this symptom, you're going to need this antidote. You're not just selling them anything. And once again, also, you're not letting anyone in your doctor's office, right? Because, you know, you're good at helping people with e-commerce help or with finance or with fitness. But if you let anyone and everyone in there, you're not even going to have the right antidote. And so, like, why not learn to be really good at one thing and dominate a market? Like, look at, you know, this also applies geopolitically. Like, look at North Korea, South Korea. North Korea very isolationist. Like, they don't really trade with other countries. They make everything in-house. You know, they're not running a trade deficit like the United States. And, you know, their economy grows, but compare them to South Korea. South Korea are only good at one thing. And then they just export all of that. And because they're the best in the world at like microchips, or, you know, I think also their textile industry is great. they're able to like actually like, drive up everything in their economy. And it does well because everyone from the world wants to trade with them specifically because they're really good at this one thing. And so like they're doing better as a society. Maybe they don't have nukes like North Korea, but at the same time, it kind of showcases this point. Okay, has anyone watched that show, Suits, by any chance? Okay, let me show you it really quickly. Suits, Netflix. Okay, it's a show about lawyers. Their whole thing is like, litigating corporations and making money and kicking ass. All right. Well, there's this like really powerful scene in Suits where, this huge company, they're looking for a lawyer and then they can't find one. And eventually, like the main character of the show, his name's Harvey. He comes in and the guy's expecting, he's like, "Where's your presentation?" He's waiting for the pitch. And Harvey's like, "I don't have one and I don't need one." And, the big corporate executive's like, "Excuse me? Everyone comes in here with a presentation. Like, why should I even listen to you if you don't have anything prepared?" And he's like, "Because you're not looking for a presentation. You've interviewed all the best lawyers in the entire New York City for the last 3 months and you haven't picked one because you're not looking for a presentation." He's like, "Oh yeah, like what am I looking for?" And he's like, "You're looking for loyalty. You don't downsize in the bad times and everyone sticks with you in the good times. So you're looking for someone you can trust." And the corporate executive kind of sits back and he's like, "That's right." And so Harvey, the main character, he saw that. He's like, he did his market research. In the bad times, they don't lay off anyone like every other big corporation. They don't fire anyone. They cut their costs, whatever. They suck it up. And the good times, they give people promotions. And so while everyone's like trying to, please the corporate executive and impress them with the best PowerPoint presentation and the best statistics and blah, 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 the main character was a little bit smarter. And he's like, "Okay, why hasn't he picked anyone? It's been 3 months. Well, he's probably looking for something else." And he figured it out that it was loyalty. And then he landed the role. So it's kind of the same thing. It's like trying to read your client. It's what Yash said. It's like being relatable. Because like at the end of the day, like you could be the best, you could be the smartest, best content operator, but if they don't trust you, it's always an uphill battle. And how do you build trust? Well, yeah, the relatability, the right information, and the coaching. You're coaching your client on content. You're not selling him. But yeah, if you do all those three, like you'll never go broke. Like it's very difficult. You'll always be able to land clients, even if it's for less money. The biggest thing is just focus on them. It's not about you, it's about them. This isn't a content problem, it's a psychology problem. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, honestly, content is just psychology, but in a different medium, in a different form. The context is video. The context is social media algorithms like Instagram. But it all comes down to the psychology. When you start paying attention, like life just kind of opens up. It's actually crazy. And not taking people's words at face value. Like, do they really mean what they say? "Oh, I need to think about it." Do you really need to think about it? It's probably not the case. Or maybe not really convinced yet. There's only one thing you got to do. You match actions to words. If they say they're really excited, but then they don't buy on the call, they're not excited. And when you can match people's actions and words, like you start to realize, their true intentions. It reveals what they're actually thinking. Because people say things they don't mean, but they don't do things they don't mean. So just think about that. And also don't be scared of silence. Like sometimes you want to let them process it. Like elite ball knowledge, thanks, bro. If I ever say something to clients and I kind of cease thinking, I just shut up. And I know I talk a lot, so it's kind of hard to imagine, but like I trust me, I do shut up and I sit there and I'm just like, and I let them come up with it on their own. I let them think. Like, you're asking questions and you're leading them down the line of where you want them to go, but they need to think it's their idea. Because if they think you're pressuring them or you're forcing them, they put their ego up to protect themselves. It's like a natural reaction. Like, landing a client taught me more about life than my entire year at college. It taught me more than like 10 dates ever did. Because you, like, for someone to pay you, like, to give you thousands of dollars off seeing you once, that's not an easy task on paper. Like, think about how absurd it sounds. Oh, so I'm gonna hop on a call with someone I've never seen from halfway around the world, and he's gonna give me $4,000 like that in 30 minutes. It's like, what the fuck? Like, how? Well, we broke it down. You answer the question, why do you need me? How can I help you? You provide the value, you build rapport, you align your goals together. You sit, you listen, you make a very emotional decision. That also makes sense logically. You get them excited about the opportunity. You build trust. And before you know it, 45 minutes later, you have an extra 4,000 in your bank account from someone you've never met. So if you can do that, I feel like you can pass college or you can get a girlfriend, like it all kind of applies. So, why am I telling you all this? Why am I not just keeping it content operating specific? Well, because I'm emphasizing how important this skill is. Like, you don't want to overlook landing clients. Well, obviously you want to make money, but the skill, it applies to everything. So, like, the next time you're out in public, just kind of try to sit and like analyze people. Like, if someone's walking a little bit too fast, well, maybe they're busy, or maybe they're nervous, or try to figure it out. Like, just train your brain to not just look at things face value. It's definitely a skill. It's not at all a natural thing. I actually used to be an introvert growing up. Like, in school, like, I'd go home, I'd watch YouTube. I never went into any parties in high school. I never did anything. I just played soccer. And I worked on school. I got straight A's. I was like an introverted kid. I had like 2 friends. And now growing up, like, I've been to 20 countries. I have like hundreds of friends around the world. I talk to all of you guys at once, no problem. I close clients for thousands of dollars. It's something that's practiced, something that's learned. Last thing I'll say, and like, I don't want to blabber on and overwhelm you guys with information, but I do want these calls to be super productive and you guys can gain value from it. If they ever say something that about, like, let's say you ask them, yeah, like where are you calling from? And they're like, oh, Germany. We're in Germany, Frankfurt, Munich, Dresden, Hamburg. I've been to Hamburg, actually. Great football team. Don't be scared to like give a little extra. That's how you build the rapport. By showing that like things, or you're willing to talk about, like, you're a well-versed individual. One of my first ever clients, his name was Nathan. I mean, you guys know Nathan. He told me he played soccer growing up. I was like, oh, like, what position? And he's like, center midfield. And I'm like, oh, so like you're like a Luka Modric. That's like a really big soccer player. And he's like, yeah. How'd you know that? I was like, no, I didn't know that. I'm just guessing because center mid. And he's like, oh yeah, that's a good point. And like, it immediately killed the tension. Like, we connected on something. So don't be scared to make that connection. Like, when they inevitably, guys, like, we're not robots. Like, we know things, right? Inevitably, they're going to say something. If you don't know anything in Germany, then just something else will pop up. If you don't know anything about sports, something else will pop up. They'll talk about content. Like, whenever I have my one-on-one calls with you guys, someone talks about self-development. Well, I bring up like a YouTuber like Hamza, and I talk about how he structured his funnel and how it sucks. It's moments like that which make you stand out, which bring everything we talked about in a nice little package of, I want to work with you. And don't be scared to stutter. Like, even when talking with you guys, I'm stuttering. I'm like, messing up my words, but it shows I'm human. I'm not like this perfect, robot. I'm not here in a suit. It's not that big of a deal. Like everyone's always worried, what if I say the wrong thing? What if I look stupid? Bro, who cares? Like there's nothing wrong you could say if you have the system that's built out properly. If you have the information. Like yeah, I'm the stutter. Big deal, bro. It's not going to do anything. I hope all that made sense. I'm just like talking in circles. Okay, so now that Peter knows the fundamentals, he's gone through my program, he has all the resources and frameworks to actually kill it as a content operator. This next clip you're about to watch is me connecting him with one of my old clients that's just gonna directly pay him and be his full-time super client.
Hey,
Peter,
how you doing, man?
my man, how are you?
I'm pretty good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. I got good news, bro.
What are the news, man?
I got a client for you.
Really? Where is she from?
Yeah, no, it's a he. It's Austin Raven. I actually used to work with him myself. This guy right here.
Okay.
And he just shot me a text asking for short form guys that could match his current style. So, I mean, it's pretty simple stuff. It's more about the strategy. He's in the e-commerce niche, so a little bit of that business area that you're already familiar with. And given all the systems and formats that we currently have in the program, I think you'd be a perfect fit and you would just crush it. So you could work with him directly and he'd pay you every month as his full-fledged content operator.
That's sick, man.
Yeah.
How come? Where did he come from?
He
He
actually lives
was
near me. I used to work with him, but he shot me a text this morning asking for some more help with his current content. So yeah, we'll get you set up, and looks like that's a pretty quick way to land a client, huh?
yeah, probably pretty fast since coming to the program for sure. So
Yeah. How
yeah.
long have you been in the program for so far?
I don't know, was it like 10 days? I don't even know, man. I
10
need to
days.
look at a date.
Yeah, dude. I know it was a little bit harsh with reviewing some of your client calls, but now you have all that information that you can apply to this new client.
No, I mean, of course, I think the information that you've given me on the calls was amazing because in all the other programs that I've been so far, I've never heard something like that. And they would always tell me, oh, yeah, man, you're doing everything good. But on the other side, I wasn't closing clients. And then
Hmm.
you came in telling me exactly what's different. I was like, bro, that's insane.
Course, bro. I'm here to help, and I see a lot of potential. So, this is what I'll do. I'm going to send him your Instagram right now, or I'll make a group chat actually. So let's see. Okay, here's the group chat. Hey, Austin, this is Peter. He is a killer short form content operator who can match your current style. Done. Yeah, I mean, let's see what he says. Let me shoot him a text back on my iPhone as well, just so he knows. Look, this is what he texted me this morning. He said, "Yo, do you know any short form
The
guys that
short
can
form
match my
guys.
style?"
Yeah.
So obviously, I know you're new here, and I know that you have all the systems and everything. So I think this could be a great fit.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
think
that's a
he's gonna
big
get
smile,
pretty
bro.
good.
I haven't seen you smile like that in a while.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's been a little bit of a struggle to be honest, like last couple of months, but like, been trying, putting in the work. I knew at some point, the momentum was gonna start kicking in, and it seems like this is the perfect opportunity. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, I think that's it for now. I just wanted to kind of make that introduction. Uh, I'll also help out if you need me. Like, I'd hop on some calls just to make sure that everything looks good. But I mean, I see Austin in person all the time. Like, he lives 20 minutes from me, so I can definitely like, try to mediate and stuff. But I think you'll do a good job with him.
No, I mean, of course, I as well have a lot of the experience. Just been for multiple years right now. Even this like personal brand that I have, it was like the League of Legends talking head videos that I was
Oh,
posting
he's
on
typing.
myself. Sorry?
He's typing. He's typing in the
Oh, he
chat.
is.
Yeah, he's typing right now. Let's see what he says. Bro, why does it feel like I'm texting my crush?
I don't know.
I'm just excited. What's up, Peter? Nice to meet you. Let me know when you can get a chance to check out my kind of real style and see if it's a good fit. Okay?
Yeah, of course.
All right. Yeah, I'll let you take it from here. I think you can just check out his reels, kind of give him some ideas on, other things you can do, like research the niche a little bit. And yeah, I mean, even if it's more of like an editing role, like it could always transpire into content operating. Either way, it's a big client. So I think you should take the opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Should
Okay.
take the most out of it for sure. So, yeah.
Cool, bro. Yeah, well, I'll end this recording. I'll save this for our archive. All right, so that's the video for today. I hope it was helpful. I tried to provide the most value in this free video for you guys to go and kill it as content operators. On top of that, obviously everyone that works with me directly, they get added benefits, just like with Peter, me spending hours analyzing his calls, having those one-on-one meetings, and on top of that, actually connecting him with a real life super client. So now he doesn't have to struggle anymore, but he knows the foundation. So if you want to work with me directly, remember, first link down below in the description of this video. Make an application and I'll talk to you shortly. Also, don't forget to subscribe because this video is like over an hour long and I did my best to help you guys out. So I really appreciate it. And I'll see you next week. Peace.